It's 1,500 points of Tomb Kings versus 1,500 points of Vampire Counts in a game of Warhammer, the Old World. The dry versus the wet, the bony versus the fleshy. This is the Battle of the Boners.
This is Toe in 12 minutes.
Here's a general on a bone dragon, but this is no ordinary bone dragon. When it was alive, it developed an addiction to the Starbucks Acai pink drink, and the pink sunk deep into its bone marrow. They called this legendary creature the Pink Boner. The Tomb Kings have brought along with them a casket of souls. It's like an arcane vending machine that only dispenses suffering for free. Now behold the Necrosphinx, proof that even in undeath, someone can still skip leg day and overinvest in arms. A large block of skellies march out into the snow, led by a BSB who has an extremely common magic item that is found in every army in the Old World, the Ruby Ring of Ruin. And behind them is the largest unit filler in the Old World. I mean seriously, what even is that thing? Far away from the army stands a group of Ushabti with bows of compensation. The Vampire Counts have brought along a group of Magic the Gathering players. They were men once, simple men with dreams and proper hygiene. But then, one pack of Magic the Gathering cards turned into two, turned into an entire box. Then came the energy drinks and Doritos. Then came the complaining about Wizards of the Coast and Reddit groups. Then came the lack of bathing. Deeper and deeper they dived into Magic the Gathering, aka Fortnite the card game. And now, they're half naked screaming in hunger for human flesh.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Beside them are a unit of spirit hosts, the equivalent of a Warhammer group chat full of unresolved issues and screaming about injustices and rule changes, kinda like my last video. The Graveguard are led by a White Lord BSB who has, again, the Ruby Ring of Ruin. The General is a Vampire Count. Beside them is a Necromancer with a Scepter of Black and a chunk of skellies. A Banshee shrieks on the far end of the field. Vampire Counts, turn 1. The Skeletons move forward. The Graveguard move forward. The Spirit Hosts wheel and move forward. The Necromancer moves forward. The Banshee emerges out of the trees and moves forward. What else would you expect to happen in turn 1? The White Lord uses his Ruby Ring of Ruin to try and shoot a fireball, but being all bone and no moan, he's shooting blanks. The Necromancer attempts to cast Doombolt on the Skellies, but is dispelled by the old guy riding the Pink Boner. The Magic the Gathering players use Reserve Move to head towards the cave. The Skeletons also have the banner of Reserve Move, and they Reserve Move. Tomb Kings, turn 1. The Bone Dude on the Bone Dragon attempts to bone, but the Necromancer bone blocks him by dispelling his incantation of the Desert Wind. The other pink bones move forward, and so does the Necrosphinx. The Pink Boner moves and gives the Magic the Gathering players a fright. The Ushabti refuse to accept that despite being all bone, they are unable to actually bone anything, as they don't have the bone with which to bone. So they use their big ass bows to compensate for their lack of said bone and fire into the block of skellies. 3 of them explode into a pile of wet bones. The Tomb King's BSB uses the magic item that every prick that plays this game has, causing everyone watching this report to roll their eyes. But the real damage done to the skellies is not the Ruby Ring of Ruin, no. It's calcium deficiency, as only 1 regenerates and 4 are melted. The arcane vending machine tries to dispense Light of Death, but it turns out it can't dispense suffering for free because after all, Warhammer the Old World is a dice game. The Bone Dragon breathes, not fire, just really hot air, on the MTG players, and one throws a tantrum and storms out accusing the Bone Dragon of cheating. The Tomb King on the Dragon creates a column of crystal to stop the Spirit Hosts. How would it stop the Spirit Hosts when they're ethereal and can move through anything? Well, as it turns out, Spirit Hosts cannot finish inside anything or anyone. Let's move to the next turn now. Vampire Counts, turn 3. Wait, what happened to turn 2? Well, as it turns out, all the footage just magically disappeared. I have no idea what happened to turn 2. It's gone. Normally I'd just call that a loss and we wouldn't have a video to upload today, but because I live in the jungle where Warhammer doesn't exist except for the 20,000 points of shit I have in my house here, I decided we're going to make this video anyway. So here's a summary of turn 2. The ghouls moved inside the cave, away from the dragon. The graveguard moved forward along with the skellies and banshee. All spells failed because it's a dice game. So VC turn 2, everything just moves. Nice and boring. On Tomb King's turn 2, 3 snakes popped up from beneath the earth. The Necrosphinx charged the graveguard and the skellies charged the skellies. The graveguard won combat and the wet skellies lost combat. After the graveguard won combat, they restrained and reformed. And that's about all that was lost. So, Vampire Counts turn 3. The Necromancer casts Invocation of Nehek and raises a heap of graveguard back after their fight with the Necrosphinx. He uses the Scepter of Denwarot to cast it again and raise some skellies this time. The Scepter does not drain his soul. The Graveguard, Vampire Count, and BSB all charge the giant pink boner. The wet skellies take on the dry skellies.
And you can't even make your wife wet, bro, so what's good?
The Necromancer hides behind them and the Banshee floats over to join him. The Magic the Gathering players see what looks like an MTG-themed vending machine and charge at it, hoping to open it up to get a piece of shiny cardboard.
Fear and bow down before me, ye incels who refrain from bathing or face an eternity of torment.
Eternity of Torment? Oh, I get it. He's talking about the new Edge of Eternity set.
No way!
Oh my, I need this. You don't understand how much I need this.
Hold on now. Geeks who smell the worst go last. Why is everyone looking at me?
The spirit hosts turn around to face the Graveguard and Bone Dragon. The Necromancer casts Doom Bolt on the Necrosphinx successfully, but the spell does no damage. He tries casting Infernal Gateway, but just forget about fielding level 2 wizards entirely. Now, this combat here. The Vampire Count hurts the giant pink boner, giving it 2 STDs. Severe tomb damage. Never underestimate a guy with fangs and commitment issues. The Tomb King sends 2 Graveguard back to the graveyard and casts Spectral Doppelganger, slaying 2 more. The pink boner lands a crushing blow, smashing 1 Graveguard to bits, so that's 1 less skeleton in the vampire's closet.
I need magic cards.
They're
Give them to me.
mine.
I'm going first. I
Get
smell
out of
the
my way,
best.
I get first dibs.
The ghouls try to open the casket, but the casket holds firm. The casket then kills off a Magic the Gathering player, but that won't stop them from their desperation to find the Tezzeret. The dry skellies get boned once and the wet skellies get boned once. Because there are more dry bones than wet ones, the wet bones get 2 STDs. Skeleton Trauma Delivery. The dry skellies restrain and reform. Tomb King's turn 3. A scorpion appears beneath the sands and a ghoul sinks into the ground. The Necrosphinx charges up the arse of the Graveguard. The big snakes smash into the wet boners. You know what, I think I'm done with the dick puns now. The block of skellies charge into the arse of the ghouls to save the Casket of Souls. The Ushabti move to the edge of the hill. The snakes smash 2 skellies with their impact hits and eat up 4 more of them. The champion manages to stab a snake twice, causing 2 wounds. All that remains is the champion who gives ground as the snakes follow up. Now this combat over here. The Vampire Count causes 1 wound to the dragon. The Necrosphinx crushes a Graveguard. The White Lord causes 2 more wounds to the dragon. The Tomb King wizard dude tries to cast his Assailment spell but can't roll for shit. The dragon slays 2 more Graveguard, then stomps on a 3rd, and the Necrosphinx stomps on another 2. Now the vending machine combat. The priest casts the Dwellers Below spell but is dispelled by the lone Necromancer. The MTG players, desperate to open the casket and discover the foils inside, rip and tear into it, causing 2 more wounds. The ghouls at the back rip a skeleton to pieces. The Magic the Gathering players scream in agony as they are denied the new sealed booster packs from Edge of Eternities, the same way they do when scalpers buy all the stock in the local nerd store. And only the ghast remains.
It's mine. I found it. It came to me. It's mine.
Vampire counts turn 4. The Necromancer casts Invocation of Nehek twice and brings back 9 skeletons to join the champion. He then casts Word of Pain on the Necrosphinx, but that Sphinx is a gym junkie. He feels no pain, except on leg day. The spirit hosts charge into the Bone Dragon. The Necromancer tries to cast a spell, but sometimes it's better not to try. Especially in games like Warhammer the Old World. You know, dice games. The Necromancer causes a magical explosion which blasts 2 of his brand new skellies apart and causes a wound to one of the snakes. The Necromancer, however, does not give up. He picks himself back up out of that embarrassing screw-up and casts Doom Bolt on the dry skellies, destroying 3 of them. The Banshee screams at the snakes and would have done some good damage, but seriously, screw that BSB. The last remaining ghoul, the Ghast, manages to wound the casket again, leaving it on its final wound, but the casket guardians give the Ghast the greatest Magic the Gathering card of all time, the Back in the Binder card. Upon seeing this card, the Ghast dumps all of his magic cards and ascends to a higher plane of thought and dignity. The dry skeletons reform. The snakes swallow the skeletons whole and overrun into the Necromancer. Pretty sure we can say goodbye to him now. The White Lord, Vampire Count, and Spirit Host do no wounds. But the Graveguard do cause 1 wound to the dragon. Losing combat by so much that the average Warhammer player would rage quit and subject himself to an eternal torment of playing Age of Sigmar, the entire unit crumbles and only the Vampire Count remains. Tomb Kings turn 4. Sick of not being able to shoot it, the Ushabti charge the Banshee, even though they're unable to hit it. But you know, combat res. The dry skellies shuffle forward. The snakes easily gobble up the Necromancer and keep sliding forward. The good old combat res does 1 wound to the Banshee. The vampire with commitment issues tries beguiling the Tomb King, but he overcomes the vampire's bullshit, seeing as how many STDs he distributed to his dragon. Spine twisting damage. The Necrosphinx scores a killing blow on the vampire, which his ward save fails to protect him from. So, should we just quit now? No, we still have a Banshee. She screams at the Ushabti, who are too far from the BSB, and causes 1 wound, and then dies to combat res. Tomb Kings win. If you enjoyed watching me get my ass kicked, consider becoming a YouTube member. You can get the Hero Pledge, which gets you access to VIP-only battle reports at least once a month. You can get the Lord Pledge, where we can connect on Discord and give you a shout out at the end of the video. Or you can get the Old One Pledge, where you get to name a character in every battle report. If you want to see my ass get kicked again, watch the first battle report I ever made. Actually no, on second thought, don't. Don't click it. No, stop. Stop.
Yeah, I'm not clicking on that. No thanks, I like my Warhammer content to be positive. Ban this kind of content, don't feed the troll.